Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, then welcome to the channel. This video is to answer a question that we get quite a lot, not from the viewers as much as from family members, friends and stuff like that, is how do you keep warm in the van? It's freezing. You must be freezing in there. Quite to the contrary. I'm going to show you how we keep warm in the van. A lot of you probably already know this, but the main thing that keeps us warm is our diesel heater. Now, for those of you that don't know what a diesel heater is, it's basically just a heater that blows hot air into the van, and it's powered by a little tiny bit of electricity and diesel. In this van, I have air blowing from here and this direction here. That's how I did it. You can just get a flat vent on there. You could put it anywhere you want to. I had it here, but the air was blowing onto the fridge, which is here. But this way, I get hot air blowing down that end of the van and hot air blowing down this end of the van, and it spreads the heat really well. And I've only stubbed my toe on that a couple of times. Now, our diesel heater is under the bench seat here. Also heats our hot water, but that's a different video. This here is the control panel for the diesel heater. At the moment it's on the lowest panel. It's actually not the lowest power, but I'll explain that in a minute. I don't know if you can see the controller. There we go. H1, which is the first setting, and it goes up to 6, which really does heat up in here. And it says on there the room is 20 degrees, and if I check this with my bubble van, sorry. All right, that's telling me the van is 20.3. That's saying 20 degrees, which is quite accurate. The heat sensor for the bubble vans is up there. So that is pretty good. That's what the temperature is in the van, which is a nice room temperature. And it's pretty warm all through the van, wherever you go. I mean, it's not a massive area, but even in the bathroom, it's warm. The diesel tank for it sits behind the driver's seat just there. That holds 8 litres, that one, but I think you can get bigger ones, or you can have it plumbed in to your diesel tank. Obviously it's easier to do it that way, and this being a petrol engine, I couldn't do that anyway. Now the rest of the gubbins are outside, so you have an exhaust pipe which goes outside, and you have an air intake which also goes outside as well. So you know that the exhaust fitting is not inside the van, it's outside the van, so there's no risk of any leaks. It also sits on a turret plate which you can silicone down with some heat-proof silicone, and so that it's nice and sealed. You're not going to get any exhaust fumes coming in to the van at all, so it is really safe. So outside temperature today is about 1-2 degrees, something like that. It's 20 degrees in here. The heater is on almost the lowest setting. On this particular one, you can do an alpine mode. So if I push these 2 buttons down, it comes up with a little mountain, and that cuts it down even further. It is designed for if you're in higher altitudes, because it slows the pump down and lets more air in where the air is thinner. But you can use it as a bit of an energy saver. We've used it fine. So this way it's using slightly less diesel. What I will say though, if you keep using it on this mode or on a very low setting, they do clog up. So it is a good idea, good practice, to blast them through now and again. What I tend to do, because we don't have it on at night because it gets too hot, is first thing in the morning when I put it on 6 and let it blast through, heat the van up a lot quicker, and that helps clear out the diesel heater. Now power wise, when you turn these heaters on, they do use quite a lot of amps. I think it's around about 10 amps for the first minute or so, which is quite juicy on your leisure batteries. What some people do is they start the engine before they start them up, and then when they're up to temperature and working, they turn the engines off. So when it gets too hot, rather than us turning the diesel heater off and then having to turn it back on again when it cools down, is I use my max air fan in conjunction with the diesel heater to try and regulate the heat a bit. It works quite well. So up here is my max air fan. So if it starts getting a bit hot, usually around 22+ degrees, it starts to get a little bit toasty in here, I'll just whack this on, and I have it on air out, not air in. So that'll be blowing, and then the more you turn it up, the more hot air it's bringing out. And what it tends to do is create like a cold air stream that comes from the front of the van, and it blows through and sucks heat out, and you get a nice cooling effect, if that makes any sense. We have tried it the other way. We have tried it with air blowing in, and it doesn't seem to really help that much. But if you have the air sucking out, it does cool the room down without you having to turn the diesel heater off, which uses a lot more power than just whacking the fan on. And plus, you should have air circulation anyway. These diesel heaters usually come in 2 kilowatt versions, 5 kilowatt versions, and 8 kilowatt versions, and they're very cheap. This one cost me £75, I think, for the whole kit. That includes everything you need to install that and have it up and running. So if you're wondering what size to get, we have a 5 kilowatt in this van, and most of the time we're running it on low power, unless it gets really cold, and then it might have to go up to 2, sometimes 3. That's it though. It's never above 3 ever. We could probably get away with the 2 kilowatt diesel heater in here, But 5 kilowatt does us great in here. An 8 kilowatt might be an overkill for the size van. This is a 6.5 meter motorhome, and it is quite spacious, and it does a really good job of keeping this place hot. So I would probably recommend like a 2 kilowatt for a smaller van, 5 kilowatt for a normal motorhome size. If you're say over 6.5-7 meters, maybe consider going for an 8 kilowatt. Installing them is relatively easy. I've done a few of these now without any problems. You do need to drill a hole through your floor if you haven't got one there, which you probably won't have one there, which might be a bit scary for people. The rest of it is pretty self-explanatory. They are Chinese, instructions can be a bit sketchy, but there are lots of YouTube videos which would help you out. Failing that, you can get someone to install one for you. I don't know how much that costs. I've seen anything ranging from about 250 quid to 400 quid. But that's entirely up to you. The bonus with having someone install it is they will probably give you a warranty. You should have a warranty if you are going to get someone to install one, and they will go through all of its setup and how it works and everything. The bonus of doing it yourself is you know it. You know exactly how it all operates and all goes together. Another bonus to these is it is dry air. And motorhomes, vans, especially panel vans, if they're not insulated properly, even if they are, can suffer with condensation, lots of it, especially if you've got a shower in like we have, and you're washing up and you're cooking and that kind of thing, and just generally you breathing and your body produces a lot of moisture. It's warm air, dry warm air blowing into the van, and it keeps everything nice and dry. We get hardly any condensation, if any at all. No mold, nothing. There are more expensive diesel heaters, so you can get Webasto, I think, or Webasto, or Autoterm, stuff like that. They are a lot more money, but you will get a better warranty, probably better customer service, probably maybe better components as well. But this is the second Chinese diesel heater I've had, and it's been pretty good. I've installed one in my daughter's van, and it's been pretty good. And most of the van lifers I know have Chinese diesel heaters, and there's not many complaints about them. And the beauty of them is, if they do fail, like my first one did actually, and this is a replacement one, they're very cheap. So it's worth buying two, in fact, and then just keeping one as a spare. Then you've got all the spare components that go with it as well, if you need it. Some people do complain about the noise of the pump. Now, I don't know if you can hear, but this is my pump. Sounds like a clock ticking. I can hardly hear it at all. It's never ever bothered us, but I know that some people it can bother them. There are ways you can deal with that. You can buy cases to put them in. You can mount them outside instead of inside. Mine's just under the seat here, literally. Or you can buy what they call noiseless pumps. I'm not sure how good they are, but again, do your research if that's something that concerns you, and maybe you can upgrade the pump. And the cost of running a diesel heater. Now, if I'm in the van all day long, which I am a lot of the time, it is on all the time. Like I say, we don't put it on when we're in bed, we turn it off. So it's on probably about 10 to 12 hours a day, and I use about 10 pounds of diesel every 3-4 days, depending if I go out for a few hours, then I will turn it off. I reckon about, at the moment, because it's winter and it's on a lot, about 20 pounds-ish a week. Now for us that's not too bad either, because that also heats our hot water, because we have a Bobble Van's diesel heater, water heater system, so we can use the heat from the diesel heater to heat our hot water. So we have hot water and endless amounts of heat in the van for £20 a week. I think it's pretty good. And of course you can run these diesel heaters on kerosene, I believe. I've never tried it. And also red diesel, if you can get hold of red diesel. I've tried to get hold of red diesel. If you don't know what red diesel is, it's basically tax-free or lower tax diesel that is used in agriculture and things like that. You used to be able to buy it at petrol stations, but you can't seem to get it anywhere. I've looked and looked and looked. It would obviously create a saving if you could find red diesel. There are also other products on the market which you can use your diesel heater for, and that is a diesel heater oven and a diesel heater stove. There are companies making these now. We've been looking at them. They are a bit pricey at the moment, but as time goes on, these things do come down in price, which I think is brilliant if you can have an all-in-one system like that. Only problem with that, though, could be if the diesel heater does break, then you've lost everything. Okay, moving on from diesel heaters, as I'm not endorsed by diesel heaters, even though it does sound like I am. It's thermal blinds. These ones are looking a bit ropey at the moment. These are the ones I bought. These were cheap ones I bought when I got the van, because it didn't come with any, and since then they're showing signs of wear. But having thermal blinds up makes a huge difference on your glass. You can get all kinds of ones. You probably get ones that will fit your van perfectly. This is an old van, it's 36 years old, Not likely to find any. Another thing as well is a curtain. We have a curtain that comes across, which adds even more. If it's really, really blowy outside, especially, you do get a draft coming through there. So closing that curtain makes a big difference. We've also got a curtain rail around this bit, so we were thinking about putting a curtain there. So then you can still utilise the captain's chair and have a curtain around, which would go over the doors and over the vents and everything, which would help insulate it even further. And also things like this, you've got gaps in this door here, our stable door and stuff like that, which you could, again, put another curtain across. We can't because we've got a bin there. In all honesty, that's never really bothered us. It's mainly the draft in the front that we need to sort out a little bit better. Apart from that, though, we are toasty warm in here, I tell you. Obviously, there's other ways to heat the van. I mean, if you've got gas in your van or you're putting gas in your van, you can have a gas fire. You can have log burners and things like that. We wanted a log burner, really did, but there's just nowhere in the design of this van for us to put a log burner. That would be really cool, because then you can use that for cooking as well, and it's free. It's free energy if you can gather your own wood and stuff like that. But there's those things to look at as well. But what I'm saying is, for us and for many van lifers indeed, the diesel here is A1. And there are so many to choose from. I couldn't recommend any particular one to go for. A lot of them are unbranded anyway, but you just get yourself on Amazon, you can see there's tons and tons and tons of them. And that's it really. That's how we keep warm in the van. Obviously we wear clothes, and we have fluffy socks, and we have slippers, all the normal stuff you have in a house. It probably would help to put rugs down as well, because the floor does get quite cold. Again, you can put underfloor heating in now, which will run off your diesel heater as well. That's another thing. But you know, how far do you want to go? As it is, 20 degrees all day long in here. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, hope this video was helpful for you, and please do like, comment and subscribe. Like, comment and subscribe. Like, comment and subscribe if you like the video, of course. If you didn't, don't have to, it's fine. Don't worry about it. God bless you. Catch you in the next one.